So for the trades of the week, this week we're just going to have a little bit of a run through of 5 big markets that went through and hit target last week on some pretty classic trades, really good risk rewards and pretty major markets. And we're going to start off by just looking at a couple of 4-hour charts first of all for a couple of the major commodities before looking on to a couple of FX pairs and an index as well. So a good variety of markets in today's video. So starting off with looking at US oil, so crude. Basically, I think a lot of people know really what Trendsignal is all about here really. So one of the main things that we're really looking for is basically the change in direction from here. We can see the indicator turning from green to red, and also here as well. A little bit of a signal here earlier on at the very beginning of the week, but very much looking for that retest. See the rejection of the resistance there that then led to that change in direction from green to red. We actually hit significant resistance on a combination of different time frames, exactly this level here, the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour chart. A massive area of resistance in that sort of 96.70 area there. So we hit it here. That then led to that short opportunity A here. We're targeting down to this area, this zone, for this market to get to. Now, a pretty decent move there, I must say, and really going on to achieve a very decent profit there of about 180 points. So about a sort of $1.80 move there on crude, with a risk of about 80 points. So good, about sort of what, 2.5 to 1 or so, a bit less than that perhaps, but certainly a very good move indeed, and picking up some decent profits on US oil this week. So moving through otherwise, going back to a couple of other markets, we're also looking at gold, a classic, what we call a continuation short. Now on gold, obviously on the backdrop of what we've had over the last couple of weeks, we can see significant falls on gold. If I go back to the weekly chart, let's just have a quick look at that actually. First of all, you can see the red line. This is what we call our vector average, and it's been weak for quite some time. Obviously, that massive fall we had in the beginning of April there, as we really went down to about that sort of 1320, 1330 zone there. But since then, we've been drifting, trying to have a bit of a dead cat bounce there, and now pulling back down and trying to get down a little bit lower. 1434 currently trading, but when I see that red line there, it's telling me that the path of least resistance is down, and as traders, what we look for at Trendsignal is that that major trend and look for trades in that direction. So the red line there telling us we should focus on the short side. Looking at other ways in which we look to get into trades, that then gives me then the confidence on the 4-hour chart then to take this as what we call a continuation short. So great entry point here on the close of this bar, looking to get into that trade. So entering at 1464.5, targeting that green line at the bottom here, sort of 1442 zone. So 220 point target, a $22 target, and a risk of about 120 points. So pretty decent risk reward there, nearly 2 to 1. So if you're going to risk effectively 120 quid on that trade, then if that comes good, then you could be making 220 quid profit on that trade there. So that's a pretty decent move, and very easy to identify. Again, that move from green to red, giving you that turning point, and the confidence from those higher time frames to say, yep, I should be taking this short. That is a great trade to get onto. And you see how the market then moved on. This was Thursday of last week, and by come sort of midday Friday, we were out taking our profits before moving into the weekend. So really nice move on a couple of those commodities into the tail end of last week, and a good sort of 400 points just on those 2 charts alone. Really nice move. Of course, at Trendsignal, it's not just about commodities. We can look at a variety of different markets and a variety of different time frames, and yet the strategies that we use very much remain the same. I'm going to start off by looking at dollar Swiss, a pretty major FX pair, as I'm sure everybody knows, and a classic swing trade here. So we saw the very typical sort of change in direction swing trade from red to green here, the changes in color there. Now typically what we're looking for, everybody, is targeting that red line at the top. So the green indicator suggesting buying, the red indicator suggesting selling. So what we're looking for is a buy, like a stop below here. Here's my target. Now remember, look, it hits my target before my stop. That's pretty good. So it's just about identifying the trend. We set the direction we're looking for first. We then wait for the turning points. The key is we're already looking for longs. We then get the turning point in that direction, gives us then the confidence to take that buying opportunity. Now the interesting thing about Trendsignal is that buying opportunity It's very, very easy to identify, isn't it? If we just clear up that chart, just that change from red to green here, and that change from red to green here, as low down as possible when that change takes place, the more powerful that reversal up can be. That is the basics of a swing trade. And that was a really nice move there in dollar Swiss, 270 point that target with about 130 point risk. It's a 2-to-1 trade, that's perfect. So just reiterate, if you're going to risk 130 quid on that trade, then you could make 270. Now maybe you want to risk less money than that on the trade, and that's absolutely fine. People need to risk the amount of money that they're comfortable with. But if you're going to risk maybe 50 quid on that trade, you could have picked up over a ton from that trade there. And you'd be in that trade. This is a daily chart. Be in that trade for a couple of weeks, and a really, really nice move it was to getting to target, hitting profits on Friday afternoon there. Otherwise, on the currency side of things, we had another continuation, a couple of continuations trades on some of these more rampant markets. Now, obviously, when you look at the likes of the yen markets, you look at the some of the indices, it's very easy to look at these markets and think, oh yeah, I've got to short it, haven't I? What a fantastic opportunity. It can't stay up here, can it? These indices moving to all-time highs, you know, the yen pairs moving to, sort of recent highs, and you think, God, you know, it can't keep going up. But actually, the safest thing to do, look for the pullbacks, ignore those, see those as opportunities to buy. See how the markets then waves back up again, the indicators turning from red to green again. Continuation. We've got certain criteria that I'm not going to go through right now, but when we get that set up, that's a continuation trade. Strong trending market. There's our target. There's our entry. There's our stop. Good risk reward again on this trade. 280 point target, 200 point risk. Profits all day long. You're looking for markets like this, you know, higher highs, higher lows. Look at this market. Why are you going to want to short a market like this? And yet everybody seems to want to. Forget that. At Trendsignal, we look to buy. See the small pullbacks. There's a buy. There's a buy. There's a buy. Get on the right side of the market. It's all about having the confidence to do that, of course. And that's where our training and that's where our chart analysis comes in. But we'll teach you how to do it. You know, that's our job, and we've been doing it for 10 years, as I say. Moving through final chart of the day. So another 280 points on dollar yen. Just going to move on to the Dow. Pretty major market. Everybody likes the Dow, and we're all looking at indices in the same way as these yen pairs, thinking, God, gravity's got to kick in, isn't it? And yet there they go, like the little Energizer bunnies, aren't they? They just keep on going up and up and up. And all we're looking to do, guys, is pick up those higher highs, higher lows. Again, the trends are very strong. Let's look at the weekly chart. It's green. Green line here. Do you see that? Let's look at the monthly chart. It's green. That's telling this market is firing. It's on fire. It's got to keep going up. Why are you going to expect this market to turn around? We just want to jump on that next wave higher. Higher highs, higher lows, as depicted very simply by the red turning to green. There's my entry this day here. Target the top. Very simple entries, very simple targets. That's what Trendsignal is all about. Simple, yet very effective strategies that we will teach you and reinforce week in, week out, how to use them and how to get the maximum returns out of these trades. Significant profits, and in fact, out of these 5 trades, over 1,200 points profit just from those 5 trades alone. Now, obviously, we've had other trades, but if you'd have just picked up on those 5 trades in themselves, at £1 a point, of course, that's 1,200 quid income. £10 a point, I think that's probably a little unrealistic, particularly for new traders, but if you were doing £10 a point, it could potentially be about 12 grand profit there. Pretty outrageous, £10 a point off a daily chart, I would say. But either way, fantastic points and significant profits there for Trendsignal users.